Good morning. It's day 4 of our fast, and today I want to talk to you about the art of being interruptible. If you ask people how they're doing, these days you'll likely hear things like, "I'm fine, I'm doing good," or common one I say is, "staying busy." We live in a world where politeness overrides honesty. We're often concerned with doing the next thing on our task list or finishing up something to have it off our plate, so the last thing anyone expects to hear in response to "how are you" is the truth. I find it interesting that we've become that way as believers because one thing that defined Jesus' time on earth was his willingness to be interrupted. There were constant interruptions. But what is so striking about them is Jesus' reaction time and again. He welcomed the interruptions. In Matthew chapter 9, Jesus was teaching his disciples about fasting when he was interrupted. Matthew 9:18 says, while Jesus was saying this, a ruler came. He got down on his knees in front of Jesus. He said, "My daughter has just died, but come and place your hand on her, then she will live again." Jesus got up and went with him. So did his disciples. His response wasn't, "I'm sorry, I'm not done teaching my disciples, it's going to have to wait," or, "Okay, fine, but I'm going to have to make it quick." He taught his disciples even more by standing up and going with the man. But the interruptions that day didn't stop there. On his way to the home of that man, a woman came up behind Jesus, who Scripture tells us had a sickness that had made her bleed for 12 years. She touched the edge of his clothes, and verse 21 of chapter 9 tells us that she thought, "I only need to touch his clothes, then I will be healed." And Jesus noticed. He always notices. He turned and saw her, encouraged her not to give up hope, and told her that her faith had healed her. Often when we think of serving the people around us, we think of some large task that has to be done, or some time-consuming gesture, when really, the example Jesus gave us of serving was being interruptible and making time to notice others and their needs. Today, as you go to work, or to the store, or simply to the end of your driveway, be interruptible. Stop what you're doing long enough to notice others around you. Speak to them, encourage them, open the door for them, or meet a need for them the Lord lays on your heart. In doing